Hello, how the heck are you? Oh, look at that. Some of you actually answered me. How sweet. Anyway, this is the Failing Writers podcast, and I just wanted to mention that later in this episode, there's a couple of swear words. I mean, there's quite a few swear words, actually. Well, it's mostly swearing, to be honest. So I'm just pre-warning you. I'll warn you again later when it's about to start, so you've got time to lock the kids in the shed. You know, for their well-being and that.
So, here we go again.
Here we go. And this is good. This is our revenge week, Dave, where we actually get John to review a book for once.
Yes.
Rather than him bullying us into having to review
Exactly.
stuff.
If anyone remembers, some have books foisted upon them. And that was me and Tom. Whereas John is the foister.
You foisty bastard.
I am quite foisty.
So today, he gets his just desserts.
Yes.
So John, should we ask the usual question first?
Oh, go on then.
Before we go on to that, has anyone written anything this week?
I can answer that really quickly. Do you want me to go first?
Yep.
Because that's a very quick answer for me. No, absolutely nothing. I've been on holiday though, so I've got a good excuse. What about you, Betty?
No. I've got COVID, so I've got quite a good excuse as well. So
Right, look, guys, I don't want to be that guy, but if we're going to do this, and the point of the podcast is that we actually do spend some time writing rather than just not. You can't just come back every week and just not have done anything.
Well, I had, but I haven't this time.
Yeah.
You know. What have you done, Tom?
Well, I haven't done anything.
Well, there we go. Have you got an excuse? Have you got a decent excuse?
I didn't. I thought, well, obviously, with John being on holiday, and I thought you might get COVID, and I didn't want to be I didn't want to be upsetting an apple cart. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really decent of you.
Thank you.
So,
I mean, I really did want to get writing as well, but I thought, no, come on, we're a team.
It's just a bit unfair.
Yeah.
That's great.
We failed together.
Yeah, I thought about writing.
Yeah.
Because we talked about and I don't know how you say it because it's a weird acronym, isn't it? Of the Narira Roll. You know the Narira Roll?
No. What's the Narira Roll?
What's that?
Narira Roll. In November, were you meant to write a novel in a month?
What's the Narira Roll?
Narira Roll.
Oh, yeah.
What
is it?
Oh, yeah, how do you say it then? Smarty pants.
I can't remember what the actual letters.
November.
It's just a jumble of letters that involve N's and W's.
November writing.
It takes place in November, doesn't it? I can't remember what it is either.
If you don't want to grow a mustache, you've got to write a book. I think that's how it works.
I've just tried to Google it, and I've got the Wikipedia page of a small town in South Africa. So I think I might spell that. I might have got that wrong.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that because I was gonna, the book I had to review that John forced me into reviewing, the Take Your Pants Off.
Yeah.
Of using that format to replan my novel idea and use that as to blitz through it in that month. So we all do that.
Oh. Yeah, perhaps we should have a go.
So that was my thing. I've not actually put pen to paper, but I have given some consideration to writing in the future.
Yeah, you've thought about it.
Which is kind of procrastinating, but in a constructive way.
NaNoWriMo is what it is.
Okay.
That's what I said.
National Novel Writing Month.
Right.
That's literally what I said.
Okay. Well, I think thinking about writing counts as right. Thinking about writing in the future counts as writing, doesn't it?
Yes, we're the best.
Thinking about writing in November.
Well done, us.
Whilst it's August, counts as right. I think that counts as writing. All right, well, let's just make sure we come back next week with some words, shall we?
Yeah.
Gentlemen?
Yes. We've really let ourselves down.
But for now, John, let's talk about someone else's words.
Yeah, so I read Save the Cat, subtitled The Last Book on Screenwriting That You'll Ever Need.
Dr. Seuss.
By Blake Snyder.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I got to say, I think I found it really useful.
I'm going to be really interested to see how you review this, John, because it is a massively popular book that has probably had millions of reviews. You've got to bring something new to the party somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I did mention it before, didn't I, in another podcast without going into a lot of detail, but it's basically the rules of how to write a really good movie.
Right.
And he starts the book by explaining the title, because obviously the title is a bit weird.
Yeah.
And it's what he calls the scene in a film where we meet the hero and they do something like saving a cat that defines who they are and makes us, the audience, like them. So it's whatever sort of creates a connection with the audience. So the main character might might be a total loser. They might be like a hard-nosed drunk and, really unpleasant. But that moment where they do something nice, they stop the bullies picking on a kid, or, they give some money to somebody, or they that's the save the cat moment. And not every film has one. But he says that every film should have one.
I was trying to think of an example in my head, and I'm really struggling to nail one down. Did he give an example?
There's a few, isn't there, where like the main character goes into a shop and has a sort of jolly conversation with a shopkeeper on their way to work. Do you know what I mean? That sort of, I'll owe you next time, Bill. Oh, yeah, no worries, Keith. And it shows you, they're a nice person.
That's it, exactly. There is I did watch a film recently, but it was exactly that. I think it was Tom Cruise, and he has a little jolly conversation with the guy at the magazine stand.
There you go, yeah.
And it's totally pointless.
Yeah.
Was it that Tom Cruise film where he's a plucky underdog that's very attractive to women?
Slightly arrogant, yeah.
Yeah, but and at some point, do you know what I mean, you think, oh, he's a bit of an arse, but in the end, against all odds, he comes good. And,
that's it. That's the one. Yeah.
That Tom Cruise.
Yeah, A Few Good
film,
Men. Yeah, it was A Few Good Men. Well done, Tom. Well done.
I was talking about Top Gun, but yeah, that's fine. Or,
but yeah, he says that every film should have one. The example he uses is is it Sea of
You
Love?
read this book,
Did you actually read it?
Are you literally just reading the blurb off the back?
It's Sea of Love.
Are you
with Al
reading
Pacino.
it
Have you seen
right
that film?
now?
Is that even a film? I've not even heard of
It's
that.
a brilliant film. Sea of Love, Al Pacino.
Is that the one where Al Pacino, in like the second scene, he saves that cat?
Yeah.
Hey, come over
That's
here,
it.
Craig. The cat's on the road. Hey, cat, come here. Is that one? And then he takes the cat and starts, say hello to my little friend.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, good film. So is this the cat moment is just like the joining of the viewer to the main hero?
Yeah, it's basically, because it's a book full of like these little tips, these like little common sense tips. He uses Save the Cat as kind of one of the main examples of just things that you've got to put in your film, things that just make a film better. And there's loads of them. Especially at the end, he like lists a whole load of different like little things that you've got to get in, or you must avoid. But yes, I think it's really useful. But the main thing that it does is teaches you how to beat out a film.
Yeah.
As in, put up your little post-its or whatever on the wall and work it out scene by scene and structure your film.
So I was going to ask,
that's kind of the main thrust of it.
With all these bits, are they in order? So do they happen in the same order? These touch points that he has in here. Does it happen in the same order in every film, or kind of is it?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, there are obviously exceptions, and there's a couple that you can sort of swap around a little bit, but mainly, all the really good films that you can think of do absolutely fit, like 100%, and it is quite weird. And he does say, one of the things you have to do as a writer, especially if you're obviously writing films, is that you just study films and just get really good at seeing the beats and noticing where they are and what leads up to them.
Do you think are there also some really bad films that do these things as well? Do you think?
I think,
I reckon there
most
probably
films
are.
try to do it, because I think now it's such a sort of known formula that.
Yeah, exactly. The studio won't sign it off unless you have
exactly
these things going on.
But it doesn't necessarily mean you've got it right. There's definitely a way to do it. But it's still really easy to get everything wrong. There are so many things you can get wrong. I think that's one of the issues.
I want to know, what are the things that you said there were some things that he said you shouldn't do?
Well, he talks about, for example, if your bad guys aren't working, if there's something wrong with the story, it's often one of a number of things. One will be that your bad guy isn't very bad. So make your bad guy badder is one of his things, if your story seems a bit weak.
Yeah. Kill the cat.
Kill the cat. Make sure your hero isn't inactive, which I think I've done in the past. Make sure they're really active. Make them initiate the action. Don't let them be dragged through the film, otherwise no one will care about them. Stuff like, remember that stories are about change, and with the exception of the bad guys, all your characters have to change during the course of your movie. Don't just have your main character change. And also, don't forget to increase the stakes as the movie goes on. Build up the intensity. You can't have the same sort of pace throughout. You've got to sort of build the speed of things happening, increase the threat and the near-death experiences and everything, and just sort of keep things winding up. So it's kind of stuff like that. And he goes into a bit of detail about it as well, and he sort of gives you tips and ways to get into it.
And is this very specifically screenplays, John, or is it like just sort of story elements?
It's films, yeah. It's primarily films. But what I was interested in is the structuring the story, because ultimately, all stories are the same, whether it's a film or a book or whatever. Yeah. And I think certainly for certain kinds of books, especially if you're planning on them being quite commercial, because he's very commercially minded.
Well, yes.
Like, he does talk about money quite a lot, Blake Snyder.
Is that the thing then? Is this like rules to write a really, really good screenplay, or rules to write a screenplay that will sell? Does he sort of go into that distinction?
I think he would argue both.
Yeah.
I think he'd argue that one is they're the same thing.
Yeah.
And occasionally there are outliers, aren't there, where there are films that don't quite sort of follow all the rules entirely, but they just hit the mark, or they just get something right. And sometimes you get a bad film that does quite well at the box office. But basically, they're usually the same thing, aren't they? It'll be popular because it's good. Yeah, so that's what it's kind of about. It's about, if you want to make the most perfect, satisfying story that audiences will flock to and it'll make millions of dollars at the box office, so that you can finally afford your big beachfront mansion in Malibu.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want that? Eh?
Yeah, well, exactly.
It's interesting what you're saying there about films being popular because they're good, or because they fit this format.
It's interesting because Blake Snyder, he has a proper go at a couple of films that I really like, and talks about why they're crap. And he also bigs up films that I think are maybe a bit crap. So it's interesting.
What films do you think are good that he didn't?
The films I really enjoyed, what's his name? M. Night Shyamalan, or whatever his name is. His Signs. It's quite a weird film. It's a sort of cross-genre film. It's basically a family drama meets sci-fi sort of thing.
Yeah, I remember that one. I think that was the last one of his that I actually enjoyed. Is that the one where it's all about these things are afraid of water or something?
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a really nice film. It's really well written. It's really interesting, and it is much more of a family drama. It's almost like it's a family drama, but there just happen to be aliens.
Yeah.
It's about...
It's a family drama where the mum gets horrifically crushed between a car and a tree. It's not really...
Exactly.
Come on, kids. Let's sit down and watch this together.
Yeah. Although we did gather the kids together and watch it with them, or force them to watch it. But I really liked it. It is a bit sort of mystical and a bit strange, but I thought that was really good. And also, he totally panned Memento as well.
Oh, I really like that.
Like early Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah, is that because everything happens in a bizarre order?
And that is a great idea for a film.
He doesn't like the fact that things happen
that would ruin his system, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. It doesn't fit into any of his...
That was a great film.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant
But he makes the
movie.
point, have a look at the box office for both those films.
Well, I just had a quick look. Signs made nearly £500 million.
All right. It's done quite well then. What about Memento? Because he really slams that. He says that did absolutely crap. I suppose he's comparing it to very, very popular things. But
yeah, but wasn't that Nolan's first film?
I think it was his breakthrough
went
film.
Went on to make... Yeah.
Thing is, though, are we just to judge films by how much they make at the box office?
Well, that's part of the problem.
It was like his first movie, and it's starring someone who was just out of Neighbours, pretty much, wasn't it? And then you can't compare that to to the big blockbusters.
And it wasn't easy watching. It wasn't popcorn watching, was it? It wasn't like you'd go to the cinema on a Saturday night and have a couple of beers and
No.
You really had to pay attention. You had to work your way through
No, after a couple of beers, that would be, yeah.
I think I got it from the video shop.
Yeah, I think I might have done.
Dates it a little bit. Yeah.
Memento made $40 million off a $9 million budget.
All right.
So that's more than
profit.
That's more than I've made.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, he's definitely, he's about the money, because the examples he uses are Legally Blonde. He's bigging that one up, and also Miss Congeniality as well. They're the examples he uses.
They're good films also.
I haven't seen either of them, but I believe they're quite popular.
I think they are. I think they did quite well, to be fair. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's interesting because I think you can put a little question mark on it. But overall, I think it's a good thing to bear in mind. And I like doing the beat board thing. Do you want to know roughly how to create a beat board, just so you got it in your
Yeah.
head?
Yes, please.
So basically, what you do is you buy a load of index cards and a pack of pens, and you start sticking them up on your board, on your wall. And each card is basically a scene of your film. And your film should divide into 4 roughly equal parts. So by the end, you'll have about 10 scene cards along the top for Act 1. And that takes you to exactly 25 pages of your script, ideally. And then you have 10 scenes running under that, which is the first half of the second act, taking you to 55 pages. And then 10 more, which is the second half of the second act, running to 85 pages. And then the last 10 cards, which will comprise the third act and represents the full 110 pages of the script. So you can see how fixed it is. It's like, it is properly like a writing by numbers.
Is this the book where he's very prescriptive about what has to happen on each page?
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's very fixed, except the scope for freedom within that really confined space. I think that's the sort of magic of, writing a movie in a way.
Yeah.
That's the space within you having a bit of fun.
It is, it's kind of a good safety net, though, isn't it? So you know everything's in the right place.
It is. That's exactly.
And if you've done it properly,
Yeah,
it
that's
should
exactly
work.
what it is.
There's no other. So therefore, you can tell what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
If it's not working.
That's
if it
right,
doesn't
exactly.
work when you've if
And
you
you know
hit
what's
that
missing.
formula and it still doesn't work, it's because you're crap.
Crap idea.
Yeah.
Because he's a big one on log lines as well. It's like, get your log line right, otherwise you're not going anywhere. You don't have a film yet if you don't have a log
Well, I
line.
think we're all converts on that now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Really?
Episode 10, by the way, if you want to know what we're talking about.
Yeah, for log lines and John's weird tree story that he never got around to doing, even though he promised he
I'm
would.
working on it. I am working on it. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, you finished
That's
it?
good.
Oh, no, I finished the thing. I was going to record it. I'm working on the
Right.
recording. of it. It's taking me longer than I meant it
Oh.
to.
Is it tricky getting the voice talent, getting the trees?
It's really hard to persuade a
Yeah.
fucking tree to talk.
Yeah, well.
Well, this
Yeah.
time of year as well. It's coming to the end of this season, isn't
Yeah.
it? So they've
I might start
Yeah,
again in
busy.
spring. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so you get them all up on your wall, and then you can see the structure of your story.
Yeah.
And I started doing it for the book that I've started writing, but I'm finding it really quite lovely putting up the scenes and seeing how it works. I've never done that before,
Yeah.
and I can see it being quite helpful. Haven't finished that bit of it yet, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll keep going.
So, what marks out of 10 would you give the cat book then,
Oh.
John?
Well, to keep it simple
Yeah.
for you, Dave, I've used a much more basic 5-star scoring system.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I just thought 10 confused you a bit, so I thought
Yeah.
let's just keep it simple.
So what's
a
what 5
5-star.
high, 1 low?
Correct. Yeah.
Just establishing the
it's very-
baseline.
Oh, you've come on so much, David.
Exactly, I've been reading up.
Really well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
I've done 5 categories. I've scored them out of 5, and then I've divided the result by 5 to find the total. Kept it
Do you
very
what?
simple.
Hang on a minute, it's gone the
Kept
other
it
way
really
now.
simple. Readability, insight, freshness, use of examples, usefulness. They're my categories. 5, 4, 4, 4,
Wait
5.
a minute.
It's a straight 4.4 out of 5.
I don't know how anyone else feels, but I think you may have gone through those scores quite quickly to the point that
Yeah.
I don't know what was.
They were almost meaningless.
I
Yeah.
felt that was like the credits at the end of an American sitcom, just sort of flashing quickly over the screen.
Yeah.
You liked it though, John.
I did like it a lot. I feel
You
like
gave
I've
it 4.4 out of 5, Dave. You don't get it, do you?
Yeah.
Still, he did like it.
still not
you
got
went
it.
through it too quickly.
4.4 stars.
You did it too quick.
That is a very good score, Dave. That is a really good score.
It is, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's quite good. That's 8.8 out of 10. That isn't it?
I think it's one of those things with that book, isn't it? You kind of hate it for how prescriptive
That's it.
it is.
You almost don't want to read
but
anymore.
at the same time, you've got to. It's like that's such a comfort. That's such
Yeah.
a.
Have you tried, John, watching a film since reading the book and sort of trying to mark out?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so that happens on this like 25 minutes in. That should correspond to the 25th page.
Yeah, and after reading the book, it's really obvious where they are as well.
Is
it's quite
it?
weird.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went to
Yeah.
see Free Guy the other day. You know, the Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah.
It's the kind of film, because it's all quite silly and quite fun, that you're not so emotionally involved in it that it totally drags you away. And it's in films like that, it's really obvious where everything is. But I think with things that are a bit more like a bit more dark and emotional.
Did you take the book to the cinema and just sit there ticking?
Yeah, and I
things
keep
off?
shouting out as well, "Catalyst!"
Well, that's good for the other people. It's good for the other people there, isn't it?
It is. It's good for them to learn.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
Really kind.
A little system where whenever something comes off, you tick it off the list, you can eat one of your pick and mix or something like that.
Yeah. No, I didn't do that. I didn't shout. Midpoint.
I like the fact that we think you're as much of a wanker that you would do that you feel the need to say that you absolutely didn't do that.
Well, I might sometimes whisper it.
Under your breath.
Do you sort of just nudge Katie?
Occasionally.
Midpoint.
Yeah. So, I was gonna do like the first act. I was gonna break it down for you. It's very short.
Which act?
Do you want me to
Of
do
what?
that?
First
Just
act
so
of
you
what?
can-
Hey?
And then give you
What?
a quick quiz. The first act of all films, I suppose.
Oh, just right, okay.
Oh, okay.
I see.
Cool, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
Because Blake Snyder's got 15 beats, and here are the first.
Right.
Well, what is it? 4, 5. So, opening image. That's number 1. That sets the tone. Gives you like the first impression
Makes
of the
sense.
film. Gives you an immediate insight into the world. That's it's literally
Is
like
this literally the first thing that you see?
the absolute first thing you see, and that should be that's obviously really important, isn't it? Because it sets everything up. And its opposite number is the final image at the end. It should be totally opposite.
Yep.
So it's like the world has shifted. Okay, that's your first one. Second beat.
I'm trying to think of all these. I'm trying to think of so I'm thinking of
Yeah.
Die Hard here.
Ooh, what's the
I've
opening?
used that as my.
What's the opening? It's all Christmassy, isn't it?
I think so,
Is it
yeah.
Is it the outside of the building?
The outside of the building that's completely intact
yeah,
and hasn't
could
been
be.
destroyed.
Yeah. So the final shot is the smoke pouring out of it and all that sort
So
of
the
stuff.
initial shot is quite
Yeah.
isolated, isn't it? It's like in the middle of nowhere sort of thing. And there's no one out because
Yeah.
it's Christmas. And it's dead quiet. Whereas at the end, the
Yeah.
building's on fire, falling to bits. And the entire front is full of police and ambulance. And that works.
It does. Yeah, they should mirror each
Yeah.
other. If you think about Star Wars as well, they start and finish with the same shot almost. But obviously a lot has happened in between. All right, so page 5, state the theme. Theme stated. So somewhere in the first 5 pages, we should have one of the characters usually state the theme of the movie, but in a subtle way, ideally. Not say,
This is the theme.
the theme of the movie. Yeah. Yeah.
I hope no terrorists turn up to our Christmas party this year. That kind of thing.
But what's the film actually about? The actual theme of the film needs to, in some way, come to light. Up to page 10 is the setup. Obviously, it's where you plant all the A story characters. So you gotta basically introduce everyone who's important to the A story.
Yeah.
Tell us what all the hero's issues are as well. What needs fixing about the hero?
Yeah.
What's up with them? Page 12, precisely, is the catalyst. That's the moment that begins to turn the character's world upside down. So it's like the letter from the long lost aunt, or a telephone call that announces the death of some family member or whatever. Someone announcing they want a divorce. That's the thing that sparks the adventure. And then page 12 to 25 is somewhere in there is the debate. This is when the main character wonders if they should answer the call of adventure. Should they do it?
Yeah.
Seems a little bit risky, seems a little bit dangerous.
Do I go and get help, or do I save everyone single-handedly?
Doesn't really work, my Die Hard theory.
No,
that,
I don't
does it
know, though,
really?
because he's,
Does he not he's just up for it full stop?
There'll
isn't
be
he?
a point, though, where he's
I suppose he
like...
debates how to do it, though.
Although, does he initially try and call the police in or
I
something?
think
but then
so,
they're
yeah.
useless, so he has no option.
Yeah,
He does, because he calls the cop
Yeah.
on eating his donuts, doesn't he?
Yeah.
but yeah, so anyway, page 25, and it's got to be page 25. Don't mess with it. That's the answer to the debate, and that's obviously yes.
I believe the answer is yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah, something big happens.
I
Technically.
think it is.
And that's when we leave the old world order behind and we enter a new and exciting world that's the total opposite, the flip to the one that the character was comfortable in. But that was the world that was keeping them flawed. And page 25 is when we suddenly flip into this new place. So there you go. So I've got a quick quiz. Name a famous film we've all seen, not Die Hard.
Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Toy
Okay.
Story.
So in
Right.
Toy Story, in that film, where's the break into Act 2? I.e., when the big flip happens, we leave the old world order behind and we enter a new and
It's
exciting
when
world.
Woody gets pushed out of the window to follow Buzz, isn't it?
That's it. It's when.
Isn't it?
That's it. It's when he. But he decides to go, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He has a debate with himself about whether he should
he's
go.
being usurped by
That's right.
Buzz.
But he does. He ends up jumping on the car.
No.
Or something, I can't remember.
No.
Getting
No,
in
he
the
gets
car.
thrown out, doesn't he, by Mr. Potato Head?
Does he?
Oh, you know that bit where he said,
Yes,
pick a film
they-
we all know?
Yeah.
Maybe
really,
we don't
really
know
well.
that as well.
Buzz accidentally gets knocked out, and then
anyway,
Woody gets thrown
So
out.
what would you say? Where's the break into Act 2 then? When does the world flip?
They're moving
upside
house,
down?
aren't they?
Yeah. It's when they leave the house and they go out on the road.
It's when
Go to
Woody
Pizza
decides
Planet.
to actively get involved in getting Buzz back, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe for the wrong reasons to start with.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to lose his friends, but then eventually, obviously. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, was that the quiz?
That was the quiz. It's over. Well done.
Right, so go. I thought there was more to come then, John.
I'm glad there's not. 'Cause, yeah.
Did we win? Is there a prize?
Yeah. I'm going to send you both Failing Writers podcast T-shirt.
Get in!
Well, to be fair, you were supposed to have done that several weeks ago, John. As I recall.
Weeks ago.
I was only thinking
I've packaged
today.
them up today. They're all ready to go. I'm going to take them to the post office
Brilliant.
tomorrow.
So our prize for
So there
getting
you
the
go.
quiz right is something that we should have had already. Great.
Hey, well done.
Well,
So,
thanks. yeah.
Recommend it anyway.
Cool.
Recommend it.
So that's Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. 4.4 out of 5. John Rand recommends.
That's a John
Brilliant.
Rand recommendation.
And that, John, was a fucking brilliant review.
Is there any need for that language then?
Well, that's a very good question, Tom.
As we segue seamlessly into other
I
subjects.
thought that was quite clever.
You twat.
So we were going to talk about swearing, weren't we?
Yeah.
25, 24.
You're listening to the Failing Writers podcast, and that sound you can hear is the countdown to some pretty horrific swearing. So if you are averse to a cuss word or offended by explicit language, be it blasphemy, sexual references, offensive words for the strange dangly parts or the dark, forbidding orifices of the human body, then please stop listening now, before the countdown ends. Because this section of the show is literally packed with the most disgusting language that has ever been broadcast. So prepare yourself. Right, here it comes. Are you ready?
1.
Tits, bum, cock and piss, bloody bugger shit, wank arsehole, fuck nugget, donkey bollocks, big bag of jizz, twatty little bitch, cock womble, bastard wanker, cunt of the north, penis breath, eat my schlong. If you're offended by these words, please don't listen to this song. Hey, I should have said that at the beginning, shouldn't I? Oh, sugar lumps.
Tommy found an article about how the use of certain swear words is changing. Is that right?
It was like I thought it was like the footsie index of swear words over time, wasn't it? Kind of like the values of them going up and down.
Yeah.
The Foxy Index.
Yes, very good. Yeah, and it was saying how, and this upset me a little bit actually, how bloody is slipping down the ranks.
because that's a favourite of
What?
yours, that.
It's such a nice, rounded, lovely, warm swear word,
It is,
isn't it?
and it doesn't get you into
I
too
always
much
thought
trouble
that's the
as
swear
well.
word that everyone's allowed to say.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why it's slipping down. Maybe it's losing its teeth.
Yeah, maybe.
Because originally, bloody started, didn't it? It's a blasphemous.
Yeah, like blood of God.
thing. Is it like
Is it?
something like that? Yeah.
Oh, is it now?
A lot of them are, Dave.
Didn't know
Yeah.
A lot of ones that you think are okay are not
that.
okay.
Yeah, a lot of them have different meanings.
I remember when we were doing radio ads years ago, there used to be a list from the clearance people.
That's right, yeah, things you couldn't say.
And it had some ones on, you were like,
Yeah.
what?
Like what?
Why can't you say bird?
Really?
Oh, I remember that one, yeah.
You can't say
yeah,
bird.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know why, John?
No, I don't.
It's rhyming slang, isn't
Cockney rhyming
it?
slang.
Yeah.
For work.
The Berkshire Hunt.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
God.
But then most of them are. They come from, they're either substituted or from a, do you know what I mean? So it's like you just, can I say pillock? I don't know if was that one means that. I don't know.
I feel like someone's post-rationalised the Berkshire Hunt.
No,
I
that's.
feel like that doesn't really work.
I don't know, but I remember reading that many years ago, yeah. I wonder if there's a sort of thing coming where we sort of get told we're not allowed to say certain words because of the sort of hidden etymology of it. Who knows?
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of stuff like that floating around.
Probably saying all kinds of dodgy stuff.
Things like even words like idiot and stuff that come from a slightly dark place.
Mm.
Yeah.
But then things always change over time. Johnny, you'll know this with your penchant for a bit of Mr. Shakespeare. Like when in Shakespeare, there's a bit where he calls someone naughty.
Yeah.
And in Elizabethan England, that is pretty much the worst thing that you could say to someone.
Was it now?
Because it meant of basically calling them godless and
As in
soulless.
lacking, naught.
And worth nothing. You're not, like
Yeah.
literally nothing.
Yeah.
Completely meaningless and devoid of
It's kind of changed
soul.
its meaning over time.
I might take massive offence at that the next time somebody says it in my vicinity. Someone says
Yeah.
naughty anywhere near me, I'm just going to lose it.
Just break down into, oh no!
Yeah.
Right. Maybe throw in a bit of Shakespearean English in
Yeah.
there for dramatic effect as well. That'd be good.
Thou
Yeah.
twat. Don't say that to me.
Apparently my granddad had a great turn of swearing. Unfortunately died when I was very young, so I never heard him get to say it live. My mum's dad. He used to just have basically one swear word that he'd use all the time. But that swear word was issy pissy shitty arsey ollie. It's just fantastic, isn't it?
Because it's made all those words sound quite sweet.
But at the same
do
time,
like,
it's got, you
yeah.
feel like it's got a good rhythm, hasn't it? Like a little Gatling gun of swearing just out of you.
It's funny how if you put the letter Y on anything, it makes it sound quite sweet.
Yeah, it can
doesn't
take the edge.
Makes it sound
Yeah,
quite nice.
It also sounds
fucking
like the
twatty.
sort of thing that someone might say to try to, like, as a sort of substitute for swearing, but actually contains actual swear words.
It's literally just
Yeah.
full of swearing. But then we asked on Twitter, didn't we?
We did.
About what people think about using swearing in their writing and also how they like or don't like to consume it in their reading. Because it is a bit of a weird one, that. I remember, obviously, I'm a big reader, get through a lot of books.
Yeah.
But on the odd occasion I've actually read a fiction book, sometimes it sticks out. You know when you meet someone who's not a sweary type, and they they
Yeah.
swear, and they've got that little head wobble as they do it, as if they've kind of really pushed the boat out. Yeah, shit. And it just sounds like completely alien to them. There's some books you read where
that doesn't sound right.
it's almost like you feel like the author doesn't swear, and they're just kind of like,
feels a bit awkward.
They haven't quite used it right.
Peter
Yeah.
turned the corner and said, fuck. And you're like, whoa! And it's like, whereas there's other ones that it's just part of the fabric, and it feels completely
as
right.
you're saying this, I've just had a weird flashback to being a kid, and a couple of we must have been about 7, 8, 9, and we decided to make a den in our garden shed, and like formed a little club. And I remember saying to this one kid who never used to swear, like, I reckon this could be our sort of secret area. Here, you can just say what you want, and you're allowed to swear completely. And he went, yeah, bloody shit, bloody shit.
I bet that
Yeah, let it all out, mate.
the happiest day of his life.
Yeah. Oh, you bloody... Oh.
It is amazing how some people get offended, though. Like, I don't know, you'd sort of assume that most people hear some swearing in their lives.
Yeah.
And I was reading an article from a writer called Amy Pepple about how she started to doubt herself. She got really a proper, like, angry letter from one of her readers for using the word asshole too much in a novel.
Because it should be arsehole. Is that why?
Because it should be asshole.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's fair enough, I think.
But I
Yeah.
was thinking, it's weird though, because as a writer, you're not normally actively setting out to offend people. So I imagine that's quite upsetting to get a letter from someone just really laying into you for using that word.
Yeah.
It's just a bit confusing because it's always going to be used in context of a character, isn't it? as well?
Exactly.
It's context of character and situation, though, isn't it?
Always, either in direct speech or very close description.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but people come from different places and different communities and stuff. And this woman actually wrote, one of the comments in her letter to the writer was, no teenager would ever use the F word.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking, where does this woman live? I want to go and live there. It sounds like some sort of little paradise. It's like bluebirds landing on her head and feeding deer.
But then if that comes, if you're talking about America or whatever, and that's from one of these Mormon communities do you mean like a completely different cultural community where it is just not acceptable, then that could be true in their reality, couldn't it?
Yeah, but if that's the case, and you don't ever swear and you don't like swearing, and you read a book that's got a swear word in it, just put it down. Do you know what I mean? Why would you? Why would you write a letter?
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's forcing you to read it.
I read
If
the
you
book.
were that writer, would you be tempted to write a letter back?
I think
A
I
really
would
sweary
say,
one.
yeah.
Just absolutely-
How the hell do you know that there are 14 arseholes in this book if you were so offended by the first one? Yeah.
She clearly loved it, didn't
Just
she?
titillated by it. I had to go through and count them. But it's true though. It's the sort of thing that does stick out if it's used wrong. I think, like you said, Tom. Sometimes it jars, and because we also asked, didn't we, about sort of favourite swear words, and there's a lot of sort of joined together, sort of created swear words that can be quite funny in some situations, but in other situations seem totally forced and don't work. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we asked, here we go, a few things that we had back on Twitter when we asked about the favourite creative swears. So there's a guy called Jack Levers who said arse clown.
No, he said ass
Which-
clown.
He said, of course, yeah, it's all about the accent.
See, no, that's the thing. Arse clown just sounds... that doesn't work, does it? Whereas ass clown...
Ass clown.
You're an ass
Arse,
clown.
You're an arse
Ass
clown.
clown.
Ass clown. It's quite a good one.
Quite like ass clown.
Lee Grant said thunder cunt.
Very rude, isn't
That
it?
is a
which
good
he
one.
attributed to Emma Kennedy. Which I
What
think
kind
is
of man
quite
does
good.
that? What kind of
It
man
is very
says
rude.
thunder cunt, but then goes, oh, I didn't say it though, really?
It was someone else.
Someone
Yeah,
else.
exactly.
Wasn't me. I didn't swear.
I heard a big girl say it. But do you know what I mean? Like if you which is a nice sort of funny turn of phrase. But if you're reading that in a book from the wrong character, it can seem utterly contrived and forced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If someone's in a really heated moment and they suddenly say something
suddenly
like "You're a cock juggling thunder cunt," it's not the sort of thing that would just
No, but if it
spring
fits
out.
in with
you
the
know?
character, if you have cast Hugh
Yeah.
Grant in your film, do you know what I mean? You kind of,
Yeah.
you can do it, can't you?
Yeah.
That's half the
Yes.
point about the right place, the right time.
Yeah.
I remember once being in the creative office actually at Galaxy, and me and Gareth were trying to come up with new swear words.
What like totally new words?
Just it's like using the kind of the
Brand new. What did you come up
I
with?
think the nearest we came was cockfister,
That's quite nasty. That's quite nasty.
the best we could do at the time.
Bairdy, you were quite fond of an occasional cockwomble, weren't you, at one stage? Seem to remember.
I used to
Was that you?
cock knocker.
Cock knocker, that's it.
Yeah.
I knew it was something.
Yeah, I used
Yeah.
to quite like one of those.
Cock knocker.
Cock knocker.
Used to come out occasionally.
Yeah.
Do you think you can just put any half swear word with another word and it just sounds like it comes
Yeah.
up with a mildly
I think
humorous?
it does because
Does seem
Like you
to
just say
work.
wank turtle, and everyone goes, "Yeah, that works."
yeah. There's another one from the Twitter feed. Was A.B. Finlayson's waffle bollocks, which is nice, isn't it? That's a nice
Oh
little
yes.
combination.
Do you know what I like about that is I think you can kind of know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice.
You can kind of
Waffle
fit it. It's, you can't describe it in itself, but you know what it is.
But also, like, how could anyone be offended if you say waffle bollocks? I don't think, you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
it takes the edge off, doesn't it?
It does take the edge off, you're right. My son, my youngest son, speaking of, we were talking about teenagers before, but he has a funny thing that he started saying. He doesn't really want to swear a lot because he's a good kid,
Yeah.
but he sort of comes up with his own fake swears.
Oh.
But unfortunately, sometimes he gets it a bit wrong. Like one of his favourites is fudging fuck-a-nickel. But as I've pointed out, he's not really successfily dodged the swear there,
No.
Joel.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, you probably just highlighted it.
Yeah, exactly. I just imagine it's a sort of word that if you tried to beep it, you'd beep the fudge off the beginning and just hit the hit the fuck.
Just hit the fucking nickel. It's nice though. I've started using
Well,
it.
I'm a big fan of. I read a lot of sort of comic books, and there's a lot of sort of made up swear words that are in those where they've got, the character would absolutely be the sort of character that would swear, but there's a lot of kids who are going to read this, so you can't actually say the real swear word. So I read a lot of. I used to read a lot of 2000 AD and Judge Dredd, and his sort of big catchphrase was "drock." He would say "drock you drocking drocker." He wouldn't say that, but But that was the sort of fuck replacement
Yeah.
in Judge Dredd's world was drock, and there's a few. Sneck was another good one. I quite like sneck. That feels like it should be a swear.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
got
a
that kind of.
verb?
It sounds like it's got some Anglo-Saxon roots in that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That kind of,
Yeah.
Katie says, "Gee whiz." She doesn't go the full Jesus.
My mum used to
Which is
say
weird.
sugar lumps quite a lot. Sugar lumps.
See, I always think it's a bit weird, isn't it, with the fake ones? I get it, but it is just a bit weird because you're still saying the same thing. It's
Yeah.
not- if you fecking gee whiz sugar lumps, then we know what
Can't
you're
trick
doing.
us.
Well, I think that's the thing, isn't
So
it?
what's the?
Well, if there's kids around.
It's a way of getting round it, isn't it?
There's done studies where swearing, because it's in a different part of your brain, if you're in pain, swearing relieves the pain.
No, really?
I read that. Yes. Yeah.
feels
yeah.
right.
Yeah, they did it. They actually did an experiment on TV with Brian Blessed.
Didn't they make him put his hand in some cold water or something like that? Yeah.
It's freezing cold water. And the first time they didn't
Yeah.
let him swear, and the second time they did let him swear. And let me tell you, that man can swear.
Yeah.
That does feel right, doesn't it? It does. There's sometimes you've just got to.
Yeah.
It does have its uses.
So the question is whether, if your hand was in frozen water, whether just saying waffle bollocks
No,
would
it's not
actually,
enough.
it doesn't feel like it would do any good, does it?
Do you know what?
Rather than like giving it a full
I think I also remember
pissy,
reading.
shitty
I
RCO.
remember reading as well that it was a way of catching spies because it's really difficult. if you're in like extreme pain, people do swear, but it's
Oh,
really
in your own
difficult not
language.
to swear in your own language. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, shit, that hurts. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That old.
good
That
one.
old chestnut, yeah. Just had to catch someone out.
Is it okay to swear in different languages?
If you're a spy.
in front of the kids, then?
Oh,
That'd be a
yeah,
good way
yeah.
around it, wouldn't
I
it?
think I
Maybe,
may.
I don't know, yeah, but
done
then
that
they might
before,
go and
yeah.
look it up then.
That's good. That's educational. That's all right.
Yeah.
John, what was your favourite off the Twitter feed from what people said?
Well, it has to be Chicken McBastard.
Oh, yes.
I can't remember. Actually, I haven't got it here. Who said Chicken McBastard? That was brilliant.
Garrison the Barbarian Kelly.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
It's just everything you need.
That's a good under the breath one, that,
It
isn't
is,
it?
yeah. You can say that slowly as well, can't you? Chicken McBastard.
Really lean on the start of the syllables. That's the sign of a good swear word.
I
that is.
can imagine Sean Bean ordering one.
Chicken
as well.
bastard.
Chicken McBastard.
And it's always good, the swear words where you can slip a little another word in the middle, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
Yeah, splitting a word in half and shoving a fucking in the middle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we've come to the conclusion that swearing is flipping brilliant, and people who don't like it should
Fudge off. Yeah.
And
Go,
speaking of that, do you remember there was a brilliant advert for the Advertising Standards Authority? God, it must have been in the 90s or something like that, where they had this like scene. It was like a scene out of the bill, like police cars on a bridge apprehending a criminal, but all the dialogue was done
That rings a
without
bell,
swearing.
yeah.
But it really needed
Yeah, yeah.
swearing.
yeah.
And he's like, put his hands behind his back. You're flipping hurting me, kind of thing.
Yes, because I love the sort of TV edits of 18 movies. There's a brilliant TV edit of RoboCop, which I still love to this day, where he says things like, forget you, obviously, fuck you. And they sort of bleeped out. And it's the sort of film where people's like heads are getting blown off and fingers are melting and all that sort of stuff. But they replace arsehole with airhead.
It's just, you imagine, can't you, in the edit suite for the thing. Right, Peter, you're going to need to take that back. It's just after there, where the woman gets stabbed and gutted. There. You know, when her gut's falling out there. And he gets his eyeball skewered out. He says shit. So we need to get rid of that. It is a bit weird.
I wonder who used to get the job, because I remember films where you'd get someone saying, "Oh, go blow it out your kazoo," and it would just be really badly done. It must have been a great job dubbing the fake swear words on movies. But I think the answer is, I think we've nailed it, haven't we? Really, it's fine as long as it's fitting to character and context.
Yeah, quite a boring answer, really, in a way, isn't it?
It
It's
is,
proper,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
middle of the road.
We
It's
could've-
probably all right as
Yeah.
long as you do it sensibly.
I was hoping when
Yeah.
we asked the question on Twitter, I was hoping that people would come back with some really surprising answers, but actually everyone was really sensible and just said stuff like, I think it's fine as long
When
as
it's
it fits the
appropriate.
story and the character. Yeah.
Because it is the sort of thing that people are sort of quite polarizing thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because some people are just absolutely, no, you can't do that at all. I'd like to. If you feel that way, please get in touch.
What are you going to say? If you feel that way, fuck off and don't listen.
Yeah.
You can't worry about offending the odd person, can you?
I
It's
can't.
like all the best, all the best art offends some of the time.
Yeah,
Yes.
not necessarily intentionally, but
No, exactly.
you can't
And
hide.
people-
People are allowed to be offended. I think there's a little bit missing at the minute, isn't there, in the world, where people
Yeah.
think they've got a right not to be offended.
Yeah,
And-
and you can read Chaucer. You know, he was bandying around the word arse back in the
Oh, here we go,
1300s.
Dave. We nearly got.
So, I mean-
nearly got through without John bringing up some obscure
Yeah,
ancient
exactly.
literature.
It's always go, hang on, mate.
You got Shakespeare,
Yeah.
in.
Oh, I did,
There
yeah,
is Chaucer
yeah.
in.
You got me
cancelled
there.
it out with the Die Hard.
That was naughty of me, wasn't it?
But there is a long and illustrious history of rude words in the English language, and I don't think we should just start, Start pandering to these people who can't take a
In
little
fact, there's a brilliant clip. I can't remember where it's from, but it's about how brilliant the word fuck is, and we should probably finish the show with that, I think.
Perhaps one of the most interesting words in the English language today is the word fuck. Out of all of the English words that begin with the letter F, fuck is the only word that is referred to as the F word. It's the one magical word. Just by its sound can describe pain, pleasure, hate, and love. Fuck, as most words in the English language, is derived from German, the word frichen, which means to strike. In English, fuck falls into many grammatical categories. As a transitive verb, for instance, John fucked Shirley. As an intransitive verb, Shirley fucks. Its meaning's not always sexual. It can be used as an adjective, such as, John's doing all the fucking work. As part of an adverb, Shirley talks too fucking much. As an adverb enhancing an adjective, Shirley is fucking beautiful. As a noun, I don't give a fuck. As part of a word, abso-fucking-lutely, or in-fucking-credible. And, as almost every word in a sentence, fuck the fucking fuckers. As you must realize, there aren't too many words with the versatility of fuck, as in these examples describing situations such as fraud, I got fucked at the used car lot. Dismay, oh fuck it. Trouble, I guess I'm really fucked now. Aggression, don't fuck with me, buddy. Difficulty, I don't understand this fucking question. Inquiry, who the fuck was that? Dissatisfaction, I don't like what the fuck is going on here. Incompetence, he's a fuck off. Dismissal, why don't you go outside and play hide and go fuck yourself? I'm sure you can think of many more examples. With all of these multi-purpose applications, how can anyone be offended when you use the word? We say, use this unique, flexible word more often in your daily speech. It will identify the quality of your character immediately. Say it loudly and proudly. Fuck you!
So next week
we've got another interview.
Yeah, something a bit more savoury next week, I think, isn't it? Sunday Times bestseller, Richard and Judy Book Club aficionado. I don't know what.
I don't know what the
words. What's the word?
Richard and Judy sticker on the front.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. It's Gillian McAllister,
Yes.
author of That Night.
Yep, her latest book.
Which is keeping us on the edges of our seats.
Have you tried putting it on the bookcase, Dave, rather than leaving it in the seat behind you?
I finished.
Maybe that's
I
better.
enjoyed it very
John's
much.
finished it, so he's
Right,
sat
yeah,
back
no,
in
you
the chair.
take it off
I'm
and
still on the edge of my
keep it
seat.
somewhere
with
else, mate,
mine.
or sit on a different chair.
Yeah, just sit on
Yeah.
the floor. Perhaps might be easier. But yeah, she's coming to have a chat with us next week. That'll be great. Do you reckon she swears a lot?
Doesn't seem like a
think she
sweary
really
Mary
swears.
to me.
I think she'll have a little.
It's difficult to
swear
tell,
now
isn't
and
it, these
again.
days?
Let's find out. But until then,
We're very much open to more swear words. If anyone wants to drop us any more unique swear words.
send those through to us on Twitter or at failingwriterspodcast@gmail.com. We always like to open emails.
Yeah, we don't get many. So
No, it's a wonderful thing. So please get in touch. But otherwise, yeah, tune in for the Gillian McAllister interview next week.
Hello.
Where's everybody gone?
Go on, Birdie.
So next week, though, we've got something a bit more savoury, haven't we? We've got another interview coming up.
We have, yeah.
Sorry.
So next week, though, we've got something a bit more...